So we got a bit of stuff going on in the shop here these days. This is a body that I picked up locally. It was just sitting in the grass, and I'm going to use it for a shop display or like an advertising sign outside. So I just kind of put it together with stuff I had laying around. Wheels and tires were actually off of the Chevelle here. I didn't really want to use them, but that's all I got, and it looks pretty good, so I guess I'll use them for now. I'm just going to weld these nuts on here so that nobody can take them. And the block I had sitting here is just a dummy block that I used to use for mock-up. It's got a big hole in it, so it's really junk. The headers I had off the old dragster, the valve covers were donated from Miller Auto Machine. The hood scoop, or the injection scoop, was something I made for that old dragster, and then I just had some exhaust tubing laying around to make a stack injection. The old fuel tank was laying in the shed here. It's been here for years. And I picked up some frame rail. The rest of it's mostly scrap. The tie rod here is just an old wheelie bar that was bent, and I just kind of extended it, and I made some spindles out of some rod ends and some scrap that I had laying around so that I could steer it and kind of move it around. Motor mounts, I had some old solid motor mount plates left over. Just kind of welded it all in. So it looks pretty cool. I think it's a 29 Model A. The rear end, I just used some exhaust tubing. Made a little bracket there to hold it up. Drilled some holes, put some bolts through it just to keep it from going side to side. But it rolls around, and that's really all it has to do. So, and the body is just welded on. And then I got some hose clamps here holding it on. So I figured I'm going to put this outside the shop just as an attention getter. And then I picked up this LED signboard. I got it on eBay, so I can put any kind of message I want on there. Where did I put the remote? Oh, here it is. And I've been playing with it, trying to figure out how to program it. I'll turn it on here. It's way brighter in person than it is on the camera here. So I got Weeb's Auto, complete auto repair, and then we have a winter tire program right now for financing through the Manitoba Public Insurance. So I'm going to put that up there for now, I guess, and you know, I'll play with it some more and try to learn what it all does. But I think that's really going to get people's attention outside, not only just because of the car, but because of this crazy sign here. So that's what I'm working on. It's pretty much ready. I was actually going to build a stand for it, and you know, kind of put it up in the air about 3 or 4 feet. But I got to get it up on the lift. And I got race cars up there right now, so I might just throw it outside like this for now. You know, weld the nuts on and throw it outside like this, and maybe build a stand for it later, drag it back in. Who knows? But I got the Roadrunner in the shop here. I blew the intake gasket out, so I got the blower off. Waiting for some intake gasket material. I'm going to have to make them because nobody makes intake gaskets for this thing. These are old Pro Stock experimental cylinder heads, and nobody makes gaskets for them. And then I want to paint the wheelie bars here. They're starting to get a little rusty, so I took those off to paint them. But and then Tracy Chevelle is going to go in storage. It's just covered up right now. I got the motor out of that. I got some plans for a different injector, and going to change the cam in there. Yeah, so the gasket material should be here soon for this thing, and then I can get it out of here. And then I'll paint the wheelie bars when the car's not here because I don't want overspray on the car. not a big panic. And this is the Lexan sheet I had left over from when I did the Lexan in my car, because this sign here didn't have any kind of protection on it. So I put some two-way tape around it. I cut out a piece of Lexan and I just stuck it on there. So now it's got some protection from the snow and the wind and, you know, everything else. Kids throw rocks or whatever, it's not going to break the bulbs. So, and then I got a Firebird here. This is the owner, the guy that bought my race car. This is his son's car, and he brought it down here to get some upgrading on it, and we've been kind of talking back and forth, not really sure yet what we're going to do with it. So the original plan was to redo the roll cage because it doesn't pass certification for thickness, and then do some suspension work and try to give it some more power, maybe put a big block in it. He wants to run a little bit faster, but it's a really nice car, and right now it runs, I think, mid to high 10s with a 150 shot of nitrous, and it's just, it runs on E85, and it's just like, you know, it goes around and around and around, and you don't have to do anything. So it's a pretty reliable little race car right now. So almost ashamed to change everything, but we'll see what he says. Might do a little, you know, a few upgrades on it. I know the front springs are way too heavy for the car. We could lighten it up with some control arms, some chrome moly stuff. You know, redo the cage, cut all the steel out of the floor and put tin in. You know, things like that. We could probably, you know, get a couple of 100 pounds off the car and maybe make it work a little better with some suspension work. So, not really sure yet what the plan is for this. We'll wait and see, I guess. But I'm going to get that the old Model A outside and you know, get some attention with that. Be nice to get some more business in the shop here. You know, the race car stuff is fine, but I'm always waiting, you know, waiting for parts or waiting for stuff, and I don't charge as much as I, you know, the regular shop rate. I don't charge as much to do that kind of stuff because it's usually projects that, you know, people bring in, and it's kind of a time filler for me. So it's not a real money maker. It's more like a time filler, and you know, it kind of helps pay the bills. But the real money to be made is in general automotive repair. You know, fixing cars, brakes, suspension, wheel alignments, tune-ups, you know, that kind of thing. Stuff that they can get in and out in one day or a couple of days. You know, get paid on it and move on to the next job. So I'd really like to have cars lined up here to get stuff like that done. But I'm kind of out in the sticks here in a little small town, and it's a small community. It's not like a big city thing where there's lots of traffic. So I got to do what I can to do some advertising and get some traffic in here. I do have a road sign right now, but it doesn't seem to be generating anything. But so hopefully this will work, and we'll get her outside and see what happens.